Hello, everybody. I'm your host here, Eric Bird at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today we're going to talk about Airbnb. That's right. This is going to be a little long one. But anybody who's interested in making money on huge platforms, what did I say? How to become a millionaire? Use platforms that already exist and then enter that market with little to no money. Well, we're going to talk about this today. And this video is going to be a little longer because I'm going to be using some excerpts from people who are already on Airbnb on YouTube talking about Airbnb. I'm going to take excerpts and then I'm going to show you what we do. All right? It's a totally different thing. So please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back. Today, Airbnb. So buckle up, pay attention, because this is how you can make 5, 6, 7 figures through Airbnb. And simply because I will go to Airbnb, but please pay attention. I'm going to get into some things, but I'm going to show some other people who actually do Airbnb. And I'm taking excerpts off of YouTube, so you'll get an understanding. But first, I'm going to start off with thank you everybody for your support. We're now over 3,000 subscribers, so please share the videos, please like the videos, and please click the bell so you get the latest updates whenever I upload a new video. And Airbnb, this is what it looks like. So not only have you heard about Airbnb, where people are renting out their rooms, they're renting out homes through Airbnb, they're renting out boats, they're renting out trailers, they're motorhomes, they're renting out a lot of things. And on top of that, a lot of people don't talk about with Airbnb is, as you can see, when you see this Explore Airbnb tab, you see the stays. That's the nightly stays. But a lot of people didn't know that there's experiences and adventures. So if you have, such as the lady was doing the kayaking, if you have a business that does kayaking, you can put that down under adventures, and now you can have people book their kayaking times. Or if you charter a boat, or if you do a fitness class in a city, because people come from out of town and they're looking for places to do their usual routines. Some people have fitness goals, so they'll find somebody that does fitness. Other people like to drink wine, so they'll find somebody that has a wine experience or a cooking experience or any other bicycle riding around town sightseeing experience. If you have any of these type of businesses, you can post them up on Airbnb under experiences or adventures. And even if you have a restaurant, you can post that up where you have a special chef night or whatever you want to do with your restaurant. You can set that up as well. So there's more to Airbnb than just nightly rentals. But what we're going to be talking about is vacation rentals. All right? This isn't going to be the stuff that most people talk about because, like I told you before, I think outside the box. So without further ado, I want you to also know that besides Airbnb, where you can list your home rentals or however you want to do your nightly rentals, there's also other places such as, I'll show you here now, where you see Flipkey. You can sign up there as well, and because there's an iCal calendar on Airbnb and on Flipkey, you can make sure your calendar matches up so you can go back and forth to where once it's booked on one of these sites, then it blocks the dates on the other site so you won't have dual bookings. So that's another way to control and another way to get more eyes on your property. And then there's VRBO, which also has a calendar, so you can also link your calendars together so you won't have double bookings. And then we have Home Away, and Home Away is like a branch of VRBO. They're almost similar, so once you sign up with one, you sign up with another. So how many of you think that this is going to be a hard thing, of course everybody says, well, I'm going to get a different place. Like I'm going to rent a place and then sublease it. Well, first of all, what a lot of people don't tell you is your agreement that you have will not allow you to sublease most of the time. So this other thing that you've been told is where people say go talk to a landlord, you guys enter into an agreement, and then you rent out their place, which allows you to have no money. Okay, that's fine. You can track some owners down, people who may interest you in this, but for the most part, you have to be cautious about a few things. And before I get into what I'm about to tell you, I'm going to show you a video of a guy who is very well known in the Airbnb space. He helps people out and is on a whole different type of thing where he actually does Airbnb rental, what they call arbitrage, which means he goes around the country, around the world, and he actually gets lease agreements with complexes or condos, and he gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 multiples, because once you get multiples, then you can rent out multiples, make that exponential type money. So therefore, I'm going to give you how his starts off. So check out this video right here first.
You're going to love it. So let's jump right in. Let's start a screencast and we're going to take a look at this. So in order for me to show you how much money I made on Airbnb right away, I had to go back through my Clarity account, which is the website that I use to do consulting calls. I took a screenshot, a series of screenshots, and put them together to show every month of income that I had up through 2017. November 2017 is when I put this together, because Airbnb's platform only lets you go back about a year or so in order to see how much money you made last year. So we have to go back. So you'll see once we get to this point that my first month on Airbnb was November 2014, and between that and December, I made almost $8,000 on my first couple of properties. So story there is I had a high-rise sky house downtown Houston. They're totally not Airbnb friendly, and I didn't find that out until later because I started my business on accident.
All right. I wanted you to see that video because I'm going to have a few excerpts, because notice the first thing that he talks about is that he started years ago, and he started with one property, 2 or 3, or whatever the property numbers were, and you notice how much he said he makes or made. Well, I don't really say how much I make in anything that I do, but in this case that we're talking about Airbnb, when you get paid, they give you a 1099. So the only question that I would have is, why wouldn't he show the 1099? Because you have to file your taxes for this stuff if you're calling this your business. And I'm going to actually show mine, and some of this stuff is going to be blocked off. So some of you, I've never discussed this ever really, I don't think, but here's my 2014. So I've been doing Airbnb since 2014, and most of this stuff is going to be grayed out because things like the taxpayer's ID, the filer's federal ID, I'm probably going to block that out too. My address I'll probably block out, but I'm still going to leave where you can see it's officially Airbnb, and that's their whatever tax department. And I may leave in the monthly revenue that I had in 2014. This was just on my computer, so I figured I would show you that there's no joke, and you can see the number of that year, the gross received from Airbnb. What you're not going to see is what I received from VRBO and Flipkey, which again, home away is another option, and there's other options beside these. So now I will show you my 2016, and once again you can see easily 6 figures. And then I'll go to 2017, And again, you could see 6 figures. And the only reason I don't have 2015 or 2013 is because they weren't on my computer. I just had these on my computer. I don't know why. They were just there. So I was like, let me show people what you can do. And this has nothing to do with leasing multiple apartments or anything like that. We're going to get to this shortly. You guys are going to be like shocked. But now, what I wanted to do was, I'm going to show you and give you some other people who are working on the internet, touting that they have helped people in the Airbnb space. They're selling a course, so I just want to show you what this course cost is before we get into this. So buckle up, please. This is very important. This is something that you can actually start as soon as you watch my video. And because you know I help you, you can always email me at eric@stopstrugglingnow.com. You can email me and I will help you out, because in actuality, with what we do, we can help each other out in the long term, because you may have property that I don't have and we might be able to help each other out. But I'll get into that later. Okay, here's guys that I'm about to show you. That this guy here, I won't even mention any names, but first of all, before we get into it, I'm going to show you a little excerpt about what he says, and then I'll come right back.
In my leases, I restrict the other tenants from doing this. I don't want them doing the Airbnb.
Yeah, of course. If you own the building, you could change the rules if you need to, or just do it for yourself. So I don't tell people to go after any units in large apartment complexes. We're talking small, privately owned properties.
Right.
But if you're the owner,
eight unit little garden.
yeah, or single family homes, or
Right.
I mean, people are using Airstream trailers. I got a student that took an Airstream, rented it from an owner for $200. He's making $2,000 net every month on an Airstream in Arizona
with almost no investment.
Just plugged it in, and yeah, it doesn't even own it.
Yeah.
Just sitting in somebody's driveway. So
So what is he having to do? He's having a canvas for somebody that owns property.
yeah. Well, you're just looking
Make
for
a phone call.
Yeah, make a phone call. Meet with them.
It's a sales call. I mean, it's
Yeah,
a sales call.
it is a sales call. Yeah, I tell people how to pitch the owners, because I talked to like 150 owners face to face.
What's the course? What's the course that people
It's
can
called
grab?
B&B Formula.
B&B.
All right. Well, notice in that little clip there that Cardone says, hey, I have an apartment complex and I put it in my agreement that I don't allow my tenants to do Airbnb. Well, he's not the only one. Homeowners associations, cities, counties have banned Airbnb in certain locations. Like, I'll give you one, for instance, Whistler, Canada. They pretty much banned where you're able to do Airbnb in the whole city. So therefore, if you had a lease with an apartment complex or condos or a home, you would have been paying that lease, I guess. So that to me is one of those little downfalls that you have. Now, that is something that we're going to alleviate. Now, the other thing is, you never know when a city or county will ban, or they'll try to make you register as a business, like in New Orleans. For instance, New Orleans, you have to register, you pay a yearly fee, and then you have to pay them taxes on top of that. So these are the things that a lot of people don't mention when they're talking about Airbnb. This is a true business. You are going to do it as a business, then you have to keep track of everything. This is not something for the timid nor the weak. This is something for somebody that wants to be, well, let's just call it wealthy, earn a lot of money. You can turn this into that. You can start small as you want to be, and you can grow to as big as you want to be. You have to be able to withstand a little risk. Everybody takes a little risk. Just like these guys are saying, well, it doesn't cost you any money. I go and talk to owners. I sign an agreement. I tell the owner I'm going to bring him whatever he wants. Let's call it $1,500 a month. But you have a risk because now you have an agreement for a year or longer that you have to pay the owner of the property a certain amount of money, whether you rent it out or not, because you don't know if you're going to be able to rent 20 nights, 15 nights, 30 nights out of the 30 days. You don't know how many nights you are going to be able to rent out of 30 days. So that's why being in a hot area or in a city area, such as if you can get a condo or a home or something in LA, for instance, because there isn't too many places to stay near downtown LA proper other than condos. There's not really that many homes. Like in Hollywood and things like that, there's not that many homes. So if you had a condo in Hollywood, then of course you'd be able to rent it out probably 20 to 30 days every month, because LA's like that. Same with New York is one of those cities that kind of like bans it. The HOAs don't want you to do it in New York, so you got to jump through the little hoops trying to make it happen. But in a lot of major cities, you can earn a lot of money, but you're going to be on the hook because you have to sign an agreement or a lease where you're going to be paying $3,000 a month, $2,500 a month in a city like LA. So these are the kind of things you got to think about that I'm not going to be telling you about, but I'm just getting you up to par with what everybody else is teaching and telling people what to do. So this guy here that you see on the screen, he has a program called B&B Formula. So I'm going to scroll down here, and it's kind of funny. Look at all these gurus. You know we're in the no guru zone, right? Look at all these gurus touting that this guy's, got a lot of stuff going, and all he's doing is running around to each of the little gurus. And then, of course, since they are gurus, he has something to sell. So all these guys are backing him. And notice all these guys are the guys that sell stuff to you. To everybody who needs to make extra money, they're selling their courses. So I'm going to go down here and show you how much he's selling his courses for. It's a course. Yeah, you get bonus, all this stuff. I'm trying to be nice because the guy makes money, and even somebody who's watching me may have purchased his course. And here's his course. See this? $1,997. And here we are in the no guru zone. And I'm about to give you some game that these guys never even thought of. So let's go to some other things. I will get into it shortly. I'm sorry, normally I get into things, but I'm trying to explain to you how this goes. Because also, besides the other ones I mentioned, I forgot about Phoenix Vacation Rental Homes. If you have property in Arizona, a house, a condo, apartment even, or whatever that you can rent, go to phoenixvacationrentalhomes.com. Contact John or hit support. I don't know where it is on here if they have it, but if they have it on here somewhere, let's see. They don't even have, oh, here we go, Scottsdale Home. I don't even know where his email address is if you wanted to join up. But if you wanted to join up, oh, here we go, up top. If you want to join up, just send John, or when you sign up, tell John that Eric Bird, who rents properties in Scottsdale and Sedona, but who rents properties through this website, tell them that I sent you. And again, there's rules, like I forgot to mention Airbnb, they take 3% out of the money. So let's just keep it simple. If you rented something at $250 a night and you had 4 nights rented, so that's $1,000, you'll get a check, $1,000 less 3%. Simple. $970 is coming your way. They send you the money the next day. This is after the person checks in. The reason being is they want to make sure people don't get scammed. So people check in, then you get paid the following day, 24 hours later, usually after 4 p.m. at night. So keep that in mind. And they send it to, you can get sent PayPal, which is direct, or you can get a check which comes in a few days. Not a few days, but 7 to 10 days. But why do a check when you can just have money instantly in PayPal? And I'll get into other stuff with PayPal later, but it has nothing to do with Airbnb, so that'll be another video. But the other thing is the Phoenix Vacation Rental Homes. If you have properties, like I said, contact John. Tell him Eric Bird sent you. In Phoenix here, you have to give them, I can't remember what I give him, but it's a big chunk. It's 15% or 20%. This works a little bit differently. He doesn't take that. So how this works is, if I rent something, and let's just keep it simple, if it was $1,000 for the overall rental, if I'm not mistaken, it's 20%. He gets I get 800, and he gets 200. And this one's a little different. So he bills the person first. The person pays 200 to him like a fee, and then after that, then the person, I have to bill them, whether it's through, most of the time I use PayPal, but you can use whatever source you want. But I bill the customer after he pays. So he gets paid, then he tells me customer paid the deposit, so to speak, or his fee, and then I charge better. So the key phrase here is year, time of the year, month of the year matters. So in Scottsdale, Arizona, for instance, the most you can get is during the months of January through April. That's where you can charge people $300 a night for a one bedroom. And then they have the waste management at the end of January, where you can charge $350 a night. And they have the Arabian Horse Show in January, but it's like 10 days. And again, you can charge people for even a one bedroom, not even two bedrooms, you can get like $399 a night. Just so you know, that's revenue wise. Profit wise, that ends up being 4 times 7, 2,800. Ends up being almost $1,400 profit per unit. So you can imagine if you had 3, 4, 5 units, and 5 times, let's call it 1,300, whatever that number comes out to be, that's clearly 6,000. So that would be profit, ladies and gentlemen, with what we're doing. And I'm gonna get to it. Like I said, this is not normal how I do it. You know how I like to get into some things, but I wanted to show you guys this first before I get into it, because there's a little bit of explaining to do. So now that we got into it, here's what we do, and I'll give you the short story. I was in Las Vegas 2012, I think it was, and it was because, well, most of you, like I said, you don't have my history, because I never had to worry about, for a long time, holidays never really mattered, because every day is a holiday. So I'm in Vegas, it's February, I stay a whole week at Las Vegas, the Grand View at Las Vegas, which is by South Las Vegas, which is by South Point Casino, and I stay there the whole week for $450. So I'm not thinking nothing of it. Check out, I'm supposed to be going down to LA, and I see the Raj, the manager there, and I say, hey man, I need to possibly get a room for the night, but I'm supposed to go to LA just in case the guy hasn't called me yet. And this is around 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm supposed to be in LA like at 1. And the guy never called, so I didn't leave. I was like, okay, forget about it. So he never calls. It gets to be around 1 or 2. The guy says, well, I can't meet you up in LA. So I said, fine. So I roll back to the Grand View. I see Raj, and he goes, Eric, the room's like 400 tonight. I go, what are you talking about? I just checked out this morning. He goes, don't you know what weekend this is? I go, what are you talking about? What weekend? He goes, it's President's Weekend. I said, are you kidding me, man? I stayed here the whole week for $450. He's like, yeah, well, it's $400 a night right now for the next 2 nights, and including Sunday night. I go, you're joking. I said, quit playing with me. So Ends up he wasn't joking. So then he calls Budget Suites. And if anybody knows, if you're from Vegas, Budget Suites used to be like $79 a night. Normal. So I'm sitting there like, okay, man, I normally don't stay in a place like that, but if that's what's like only thing available around here, I'm going to come stay. So sure enough, he calls him up. They say $259 per night. Again, I'm like, what? You guys have lost your mind. I can't believe this. So then I said, okay, I'll tell you what, I never stay at Prim, Nevada. Those are $25 a night out there normally. So what's the worst case scenario? 69. I said, I've never stayed out there, but what the hell? I'll go shopping at the outlets, Prim outlets, and maybe I can withstand a night or two at these $25 a night. You know, I'm expecting the worst rooms on the planet, really, even though it's at casinos, but still. No, he calls them up. They say $179 per night. I was like, this is crazy. I cannot believe this. So now I go to the computer thinking, let me go check out TripAdvisor or Travelocity or Expedia, whatever it was. And I started looking around in disbelief. And I was like, after I clicked around 3 or 4 times, I was like, wait a minute. How do I get some of this money? If they're able to charge this on this date, what if I had a place and I could charge this $350 per night? That's when a light bulb comes on. Grandview at Las Vegas is a timeshare, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of you may have heard of timeshares. I had a video where I talked about do not get a timeshare. Well, you can get a timeshare when you can charge people $300, $350, $400 a night. It makes sense then. So let's set this up. I do Airbnb using timeshares as my property. The reason why I use timeshares as my property is because people give them away. It costs me nothing to obtain them. Nothing in this day and age. Back in 2012, 2013, I actually went to eBay, and you can still do this today. There used to be 1,000 plus timeshares for sale on eBay, and they would go from anywhere for $1, $5, whatever. I literally got 100 timeshares for about $1,000 total. Some I paid a little bit more, like there was Westgate, Las Vegas on the Strip, Westgate, Planet Hollywood on the Strip. I paid, $300-$400 for it because that's prime time. Things like that back in the day. Nowadays, there's so many people trying to give their timeshares away that you can get your pick. And because it's a timeshare, there's going to be this little clips that I'm going to give to you right now that you're going to have to watch, because a normal Airbnb person, they have to worry about certain things, such as how do you get somebody to check in? So are you going to have some property manager come over and let people in? Are you going to put a lock on the door that's automated and then you have to let people in that way? And then what happens after they depart? Who's going to clean up the linens? Who's going to clean up the place? That means you're going to have to hire housekeeping people. So I'm going to let you watch some other Airbnb host and let them explain some of the pitfalls, and then I'll come back and we'll get into this timeshare money making.
Business. So if you have a rental property, it's really a passive business. It's a passive income generating business. Your tenants go there, they stay there for years and years, they send you a check every month. Maybe you never even talk to them. But with an Airbnb, you are dealing with people every single day. You are changing out sheets, maybe every other day. You are actively engaged in running your Airbnb.
As part of your business plan, you really need to understand the rules and regulations for your city as it pertains to Airbnbs. Now, these ordinances may restrict the amount of income that you can have or restrict the amount of days that you can have your property listed on Airbnb. So you really have to understand that, because that's really going to impact your bottom line.
And regulations are always things that will affect your business. Again, this is a business, and we really want to stress that.
All right. Now, you can see some of the pitfalls, as I call them pitfalls. Most Airbnb people feel this is a necessary evil, right? You have to go sign up and get people to clean the rooms, clean the dishes, pay the people to do this. Fine. Well, guess what? A timeshare is a hotel timeshare. which eliminates all of that. It eliminates your liability as well, because a person has to check in after 4 p.m. normally, and they have to give the front desk their name with an ID, and they have to give them a credit card for incidentals. Now you just eliminated any worries about your place getting jacked. So now, the other part that a lot of Airbnb hosts have to deal with is when a person checks out, what happens? They gotta get a cleaning crew. Well, guess what? Because you own a timeshare, you don't have to get a cleaning crew. It's automatically cleaned up for you. So therefore, that's out of the way. All you have to do is concentrate on getting your dates correct that you're going to have and you're going to make available on your calendar. So this makes up for everything. So the amount of time they have to pay for people to do other things, we're doing sweat equity. So I'll block a calendar. For instance, if you know the CES show is in Las Vegas, January, it's usually there's usually whatever's after the first, second, whatever after the first Friday, Saturday of the month. But usually I'm just going to say the 6th through the 9th, or the 5th. Well, it's not even the 5th usually, but the 6th through the 9th, 7th through the 10th or 11th is usually the CES show in Las Vegas. And if you have any property that is in Las Vegas that's near downtown, near the convention center, near other areas where all the people who come into the CES, they have meetings like at Mandalay Bay. They'll go down to the Sands Convention Center. They'll go to the Rio and meet. So people want to stay in all kind of locations that are a little off the strip or around the strip. Well, if you could have a 2-bedroom and you know you can charge somebody $400 a night, and you know people are going to rent 3 or 4 nights, I'll keep it at 3 nights to make it easy for you. A 2-bedroom. I'll give you an example. Holiday Inn Vacation at Desert Club Resort is by the convention center. I charge $400 a night for a 2-bedroom unit. I could charge more. The thing is, a 2-bedroom unit, maintenance fees is only $800, $850 for the year. So at the beginning of the year, when I rent 3 nights, that's $1,200. So it's midweek as well. So that's $1,200. So we'll start doing some math. $850, $1,200 less 3% is what I get. So I get to pay for my maintenance fees for all year. And guess what else? The 6th through the 9th I have reserved. The 6th through the 10th I also have reserved. And on all the platforms, I can put in that I want this to be rented for 3 nights or this to be rented for 4 nights. So now what happens at the beginning of the year? Even though I have 7 nights of a timeshare, 3 nights I'm renting for $1,200, 4 nights I'm renting for $1,600. 16 and 12, do the numbers, is $2,800. $2,800 minus 3% is what you have. The maintenance fees, $850 for the year. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you saw that probably nets me what, $1,900, $1,800 straight out the box in profit. Now imagine, if you will, you have more than 1 unit. What if you have 4 units or 5 units? You can see where you would do 5 times 1,600 profit, ladies and gentlemen. You've paid your maintenance fees for the year. You used all your week up, let's say you did, and now you have whatever 5 times 16 is. I believe that's $8,000 profit just off of 1 week. That's what you can do. And therefore, this is what I did. I bought 5, 6 units at Holiday Inn Desert Club Resort. Luckily for me, not only do I have deeded weeks there, I also have points. So this allows me points where I can rent 2 nights. Every other time of the year I can do 2 nights if I want, which is every other time of year I do 2 nights. So that I use points for that, and points are almost the same value as a deeded week. So I have Holiday Inn Vacation Club points as well. So now what happens with the points, I can either use points for those 6th through the 9th, 6th through the 10th dates, or I can use my weeks. So it's up to me, really. So it's 2 different things going on. But the beauty of the points is, let's just say you now have opportunities at other locations. So now with the same point value, I can go to Scottsdale, Arizona, where they have the Waste Management, where they have the Arabian Horse Show, where they have Major League Spring Training, where a 2-bedroom also rents for $400 a night during these time frames. And therefore, this is why you might want to have Holiday Inn Scottsdale Resort. If you can get a deeded week there, which I don't know if you can because I've never seen one. So I have points that I use for that. And again, we're along the same line. The points equal almost out to the same thing. For 4 nights, it would cost me roughly $600 in maintenance fees. But for 4 nights during the Waste Management, I'm charging somebody I'm getting $1,600 less 3%. So again, 3 units. What are you going to do? $800 profit, $700 profit, that's another $2,100 profit. People don't even make this in a month, let alone for just a few weeks. So these are the kind of things, and this is how it's powerful, and this is how you arbitrage your timeshares. Now, let's talk about where you get them. eBay. Timeshare Users Group is what it's also called, a different place, TUG. People give away timeshares. Now, the other thing I'm going to show you right here. Timeshare Nation. You guys heard me talk about this before. Timeshare Nation gives away timeshares. Here's what you want to do. Here's the key to the whole thing. This is the end of the year, so this is why I'm doing this right now. You get a timeshare only when they include the 2020 maintenance fees. Yes, people will pay the 2020 maintenance fees so they can get rid of it. Especially this time of year, because at the end of the year the maintenance fees become due. Then people are like willing to give it away and say, hey, just take it and I'll pay the maintenance fees, or I'll pay the maintenance fees and the transfer fee. This is when you pick up a timeshare and you have it already prepaid for next year. That way you have a year to rent the property. This also, I gotta disclose something. The more properties you get, the more of an opportunity for you not to be able to rent that unit or rent out all the nights. When that happens, that means that profit that you make is going to have to go towards, some of that profit you make has to go towards making maintenance fee payments. This is why you need to contact me, because if you're going to get into this game, you don't want to pick properties that are just going to sit there. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. You don't want to pick something like in Branson, Missouri, where you can rent stuff there in the open market for less than $100 a night. Your maintenance fees are going to be $600-$700, so it's not a real upside. What you want are places that people have a hard time getting to, and there's always events, such as Miami, Florida. If you can get something down there and you want something during the same thing, February, March, April, New Year's, if you can get any of those weeks or any of that time, that's what you want to get. If you want to get like Scottsdale, Arizona, you have to make sure you can have January through April weeks. That's what you want. If you get Las Vegas, you want things around the Las Vegas Strip. So, and also you cannot mess with Wyndham Resorts or Diamond Resorts. Do not get anything through them, because what happens is they deal with points. And on their point system, they try to block owners from being able to rent. Why? Because they're starting to rent themselves. And they're taking owners' use, in my opinion. And they're renting it out because they can make more money by renting it out on these special dates. So now when you want these special dates, like there's a UFC fight weekend, nothing's hardly available. And they block you. And if you rent, they'll try and close down your account. So those are the 2 point systems you don't. The point system you want is like Shell Vacation Club, because they have 28 properties, including properties in Hawaii. So now you have Hawaii properties, which also command a premium almost year-round. So you can get year-round good pricing, like for instance in Hawaii, any place in Hawaii, Maui, Kauai, Oahu, any of those islands. You can get anything in Las Vegas, and the closer to the Strip the better. So that's what you want to do. And Shell Vacation Club does have Desert Rose Resort near the Strip. It's right on the other side of it's on it by Hooters Casino, across from MGM. So that's a good location. And T-Mobile Arena is right up, walking distance, I guess. And so these are the kind of things that you look for. And I'll give you some other places. And you want 2 bedrooms or larger, because most people go with more than 2 or 3 people, and people want their own bathrooms or bedrooms. So a 2-bedroom sleeps 6, a 1-bedroom sleeps 4, because they're sofa sleepers. So these are the kind of things that people don't talk about. Now you can get a 1-bedroom, but just keep in mind, a 1-bedroom you get less rent. A 2-bedroom you get more. So, and it holds more people. So therefore you can charge a little bit more. So like during the CES, I'll give you an example. A 1-bedroom I charge $300, but the maintenance fees are $700 and something. So you see why even mess around. Even though I do have a 1-bedroom, I have a deeded 1-bedroom too. So I rent my 1-bedrooms during the CES as well, and I charge, like I said, $300 a night, but my maintenance fees are like $700. So these are the kind of things you think of. And I'll give you some other areas. New Orleans, you get deeded week at Avenue Plaza. The reason why, you can split your week into 3 nights or 4 nights. And they have so many events there, it's ridiculous. In the month of March, there's events happening. In April, there's events happening. They have blackout dates, of course, like the Mardi Gras is week 9. You have to own a week 9 to use Mardi Gras. Yeah, that'll be blacked out. The week before Mardi Gras is blacked out. The Jazz Festival in end of April, beginning of May is blacked out. The BCS Bowl game is blacked out. But I think everything else is pretty well open. So when we're talking about the Essence Music Fest in July, open. Talking about the Halloween Fest, which is like right now, where there's Music Fest, open. When you're talking about the graduation from the Tulane and colleges like that, open. When you're talking about the French Quarter Fest, open. So all these things, you have people, and when there's Saints games, people are trying to get Friday, Saturday nights, which you have to do 3-night minimum, of course, but people are trying to get those during Saints home games, because it's basically I think I'd be called about a mile to Mercedes-Benz Arena where the Saints play. But anyhow, you get that place, but you have to register with the city, even though it's a place already, a hotel and everything, which I don't know the full ramifications. I had to move out of Avenue Plaza timeshares because I have an agreement with Wyndham, so I can't really talk about it, but hey, it is what it is. So I don't have any property there now, but if you do something, you have to register your properties. And if you have a house or a condo or anything in New Orleans, you'll make a lot of money all year long because there's all kind of things going on. So those are the type of places. And looking through here, I don't see any of these to recommend really, other than if you can get a Marriott in Florida. Little do people know, Marriott, Villas of Doral, there will always be summer weeks available because everybody knows summer in Florida is, you don't want to be here. High humidity. But if you're lucky enough to get a Marriott property, Villas of Doral, or Marriott Beach Place in Fort Lauderdale area, they're actually sister properties. So you can actually use, and there's another one in Orlando, so you can use your week at any of the three places, which makes it kind of cool because that now adds more opportunities for you to rent. But the only drawback is you have to do 7 nights. And most people don't do 7 nights unless it's something like July 4th, which you're not going to get. Some people will do, like there's tennis events at the Doral, Villas of Doral. There's golf events down there at Villas of Doral. It's right across the street, actually, from Trump National is what they call it now, or Trump Doral, or whatever that is now. So that's across the street. I know this is long, but I'm trying to tell you. Now, what I'm going to do is you can hit me up and ask me what's good. Like the Manhattan Club here in New York, it would be good, but do not touch it. They have special assessments where people are usually having to pay maintenance fees of like $2,000, and then they tell you another $1,800, and it's hard for you. The Manhattan Club, you can go look online right now. You can rent it for what, $200, $150 a night, and then they charge you, which they don't tell you till you get there. They might do it now, but $40 a night in some sort of resort fee, which is crazy if you rent. So notice there, stay free in 2020. There's a reason for that. Like I said, people are like, hey, take it off my hands because it's costing me an arm and a leg. We'll even pay the 2020, but it's not worth it. So that's one you don't want to touch. Even though it's in New York, even though you can rent it out, even though you're not going to make any profit is the problem. So that's one of the things there. Looking down this list, I wouldn't really recommend any of these places. If this was truly in San Antonio, it would be good, but it's not. It's in between. Sanza Kahana is in Maui, Lahaina. That's not bad. The only problem with them is it's a 7-night stay and then things are rarely available. So just go with the ones I told you about off the top. If you stick with Las Vegas, go to Orlando, get an Avenue Plaza, or New Orleans. Different couples, families, even a studio or 1-bedroom works in New Orleans. And there's other places. I mean, you can get a Club La Pension right here, which I saw. That's a blue-green property. If you can get a deeded week there, that's good. They have points too, which is blue-green points. That's good because that opens up some more areas. They have a property in Las Vegas. They have other properties around, such as in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and all that. But those properties, you don't make enough money. So I don't recommend going there. Orlando is an interesting place. Excuse me. Orlando's an interesting place. And see, even though this Westgate Flamingo Bay is in Las Vegas, it's not on the strip. It's like they say, 3 miles away. It's too far. Most people don't want to be that far away from the strip. So it's not worthwhile. Palm Beach Shores, that's worthwhile if you can get a week in January, February, or March, Singer Island. You can charge people $400 a night. Your maintenance fees are $1,200 a night. And yes, I have 3 or 4 units there. So most people will stay a week because the snowbirds are coming down. But again, you have to have the end of January and the first weeks in February and even through March, about March 15th. If you have those dates, and like I said, you can charge like $395, $375, $400 a night. And again, maintenance fees are $1,275. So you can do 7 times 400, 2,800 roughly. You let's just call net 2,500. So you're doubling your money. So that's why you know why I had 3 or 4 units, because if I can get 4 units, $1,200, that's $4,800 profit. Again, this is all like at the beginning of the year. So that's recommended. Anything in Mexico, outside of the United States, things are on leases. They usually expire. So that's why you have to be careful with these. And now they're trying to do mostly all-inclusive. So you don't want these type of places like you're seeing here in Nuevo Vallarta, which is by Puerto Vallarta. Even though you can get them, you don't really want them. And again, people have a hard time. They'll leave the country, but again, they may not stay at your place. So it might be a little bit hard to rent that out. Jockey Club. That is right next to the Bellagio. That's what you're seeing in that picture to the left is the fountain area. It actually connects to the Cosmopolitan, which is awesome because you can use the Cosmopolitan pool. And the elevator goes up to, I think it's the 3rd floor, and then you can go up to the pool once you get out, and you go up to the pool, and you got full access. I might show some pictures one day. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I might show some pictures. Let me see if I can find them at the pool area, which is cool. They have pool tables. They have 3 different areas, but the one I'm talking about overlooks the strip. But anyhow, Jockey Club's a good one if you can get them. There's a Holiday Inn, Vacation Club Villages in Flint, Texas. I don't recommend that to the middle of nowhere unless you're familiar with being able to rent it. But here, you see this Shell Vacation Club. There's different clubs: Arizona, Hawaii, and Pacific Club. Pacific Club, if you can find it, that's what I own in, is in Canadian dollars. So even though the maintenance fees may say, I don't remember what my maintenance fees are, but anyhow, if it's $7,500, because I have a lot of points, but that's Canadian. So that means I pay like 5,000, something like that, USA money. And this includes Whistler, Canada. Now, this is the interesting part. Airbnb doesn't ban Whistler. Whistler themselves banned people from being able to use Airbnb. But remember, the timeshares are hotels already. So it's not really like they can ban the hotels. So just giving you a little idea on how this works. So Whistler, Canada is a very good spot, especially if you have ski season. I am lucky enough to own Christmas week in Whistler. A deeded week, by the way. And you're not going to believe this. It's a 2-bedroom, and it's in a condo. And they charge me $795 US. So that's what, roughly 1,000 Canadian or something. And right now I have somebody that wants to book it as we speak on Airbnb, and I'm charging them $2,800. So I'm going to net 27 or 26, whatever the case may be, after all said and done. And the difference is $800, and I'm going to make like $1,900 profit on that. I got lucky back in the day. I was able to get week 52. Normally you can't get that in Whistler. But if you have any way to get Whistler week 51, Christmas week is what I have. Week 51 is Christmas. Week 52 is New Year's. If you're lucky enough to get any of those weeks, whether it be in Orlando, whether it's going to be in, I have that in Orlando too, Orlando, in anywhere in Hawaii, Las Vegas, not so much. Las Vegas, everybody wants like the December 30th, 31st, or first. They only want 3 or 4 nights. Lake Tahoe, New Year's, Christmas. If you can get any of those weeks, you get them. Where else? I'm trying to think. Orlando, Lake Tahoe, Hawaii, Vegas, Miami, if you can get that. Week 51 or 52, Miami's always interesting. In Florida, if you can get week 10 for Bike Week, the Daytona Bike Week, that's good. That would be in like Ormond, Daytona Beach Shores, things like that. Maintenance fees are usually $700-800. You usually can charge. It's not a big upside though. You can only charge maybe $1,400-1,500. But again, that's $600-700 profit for something that you got for free or paid $5 or $10 for. So anyhow, this is the short tutorial on how we do it. We do vacation rentals. So now you've eliminated a whole bunch of things. I know this is long. If you want to join me, we can all work together, because I do work with other people, because there comes times where people say, hey, I need a unit in Anaheim, and I'm flush out of points for Anaheim. Shell Vacation Club, for instance, has Anaheim property. So I don't have no points. So I have to hit up somebody else. We all work together, and they might have something that I can use, and I got to pay them, of course. But hey, I still make a little profit. They get their stuff paid. Everybody's happy. So this is how we do it. We work together with different people, and we can actually make a little bit extra profit that way. You can also advertise if you want on Craigslist if you want. You can do a bunch of things. So we don't have any of the downfalls about cleanup or somebody tearing up your property or doing anything like that, because it's a normal rental where they have to give their cards up. So again, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And if you want to know anything further, like I said, you can always hit me up at eric@stopstrugglingnow.com. I know I kind of rambled on this one because this is it's long, it's misunderstood, and I just wanted to let you know I'm not charging you a dime. I'm just telling you how you do it, the No Guru Zone. So again, please share and like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And you know it's hard out here, and it's going to be a lot harder. And one of the things about the Airbnb and what I do with the vacation rentals is it allows you to pick prime time dates. So therefore you maximize how much you're going to make for each one. And long as you can plan ahead, you can reserve the dates. You know it's going to be, somebody's going to reserve it. It's not that hard really. It's not like a guess. If you know what sells, what weeks people really want, and how many nights they usually want to stay, which is what I've been doing, because I've been doing this since 2012, 2013. So I know these dates. So hit me up. So now you have a way to hit 6-7 figures. And by the way, since I showed you how much I made, I guess you can figure I made over $1 million in revenue in a few years. And like I said, it was probably some other stuff, because VRBO and FlipKey is also another option. So we can all come up together. So keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.